Welcome back to Daily AI News at Let's Data Science. It's 2026-04-25. Today, we're diving into some pivotal developments, from the future of machine intelligence to major product launches. Let's get to it. We begin with a historic milestone in the AI hardware race. NVIDIA has reached a staggering $5 trillion market capitalization. According to reporting, the chipmaker hit this valuation amid ongoing US China tech tensions and was described as the largest company by market cap as of June 30th in the cited coverage. A $5 trillion valuation is not just symbolic, it cements NVIDIA's central role in the AI economy. For years, NVIDIA's GPUs have powered large scale model training and increasingly inference workloads across hyperscalers and startups alike. This market cap milestone concentrates investor attention squarely on AI hardware suppliers and resets competitive benchmarks for companies like AMD and Intel. The geopolitical backdrop matters. The valuation surge comes amid heightened US China technology rivalry, which has reshaped semiconductor export controls and supply chains. That NVIDIA can reach $5 trillion under those constraints underscores how tightly capital markets are aligning with AI infrastructure as a long term strategic asset. For practitioners, this reinforces a clear signal. GPU supply, pricing, and vendor roadmaps will remain systemically important variables in AI deployment strategies. From public markets to physical infrastructure, Google has announced an approximately $15 billion investment to build its first AI hub in India, located in Visakhapatnam, often referred to as Vizag. According to Google's October 14, 2025 announcement and reporting by the Economic Times, the campus will scale up to 5 gigawatts of capacity over the 2026 to 2030 period. To put that into perspective, India's total national data center capacity at the end of 2025 was reported at 1.5 gigawatts. A single 5 gigawatt campus would represent a step change in the country's compute footprint. Google CEO Thomas Kurian told the Economic Times that the hub will include multiple data centers, a new international subsea gateway, expanded fiber networks, and large-scale energy sources. Google is partnering with Adani Connex and Airtel on the project. The company describes the facility as joining Google Cloud's global AI data center network and says this is its largest investment in India and its single largest investment outside the United States. For engineers and infrastructure planners, gigawatt-scale campuses introduce complex coordination challenges. Projects of this magnitude typically require long-term power procurement agreements, grid upgrades, high-voltage transmission integration, and advanced cooling systems. The inclusion of a subsea gateway and expanded fiber connectivity suggests that Google is optimizing not just for raw compute, but also for low-latency regional and international connectivity. The implication for AI practitioners in India and across Asia is straightforward. Increased local capacity can reduce cross-border latency for model training and inference, improve disaster recovery options, and potentially reshape region selection strategies for latency-sensitive workloads. But it also creates operational dependencies on energy sourcing and fiber buildouts that will unfold over multiple years. Next, we turn to a story that has sent ripples through global financial regulators. Anthropic's newly announced model, Claude Mythos, is prompting central banks and finance ministries to hold closed-door meetings about systemic cyber risk. Anthropic described Claude Mythos in an April 7th note as a watershed moment for cybersecurity, stating that the model had already identified thousands of high-severity vulnerabilities. Reporting by Reuters, Bloomberg, and the Economic Times indicates that regulators in the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and India have engaged with banks to assess the risks. The Reserve Bank of Australia said it is engaging with peer regulators, government, and regulated entities. In India, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chaired a high-level session on the issue. Meanwhile, Barclays CEO C.S. Venkatakrishnan publicly flagged Claude Mythos as a serious concern for global banks. Performance metrics cited in coverage include a 93.9% score on S2E Bench Verified and 83.1% on CyberGym, suggesting exceptional capability in coding and vulnerability discovery. Anthropic has restricted early access under an initiative referred to as Project Glasswing, granting preview access and usage credits to select partners. Complicating matters, the Wall Street Journal and Cyber News report that Anthropic is investigating claims of unauthorized access to Claude Mythos via a third-party vendor environment, including access by a small group on Discord. For security teams, the issue is not just raw model capability, but the compression of skill barriers. A model that can reason across complex architectures and surface latent vulnerabilities in legacy banking systems fundamentally alters threat modeling assumptions. The combination of advanced coding, automated reasoning, and agentic task execution means defenders must assume attackers may also be AI augmented. Controlled access, red team testing, and cross-sector coordination are emerging as the central risk management levers. This is not a typical model launch cycle. It is being treated as critical infrastructure exposure. Finally, in our top stories, the U.S. State Department has ordered a global diplomatic push to warn foreign governments about alleged extraction and distillation of U.S. AI models by Chinese firms. According to a diplomatic cable seen by Reuters, U.S. diplomats are instructed to raise concerns about adversaries' extraction and distillation of American AI systems. The cable names companies including DeepSeek and mentions Moonshot AI and Minimax. The Chinese embassy in Washington called the accusations groundless. Separate reporting from the Next Web indicates that White House and Office of Science and Technology policy materials describe what they call industrial-scale distillation campaigns, and that intelligence will be shared with U.S. AI firms. Distillation, as described in coverage, involves training smaller models on outputs from larger models through large-scale automated querying. It does not require stealing model weights, but rather systematic behavioral extraction via APIs. This raises unsettled legal and contractual questions about model output usage. For AI companies, this signals increased scrutiny around API monitoring, rate limits, anomaly detection, and terms of service enforcement. For policymakers, it reflects a shift toward diplomatic and legislative tools, including references to the proposed Deterring American AI Model Theft Act, to address cross-border AI competition. Now, for a few other key updates in our lightning round. Related Digital has secured $16 billion in financing for a data center campus in Saline Township, Michigan, being built for Oracle. Reuters, citing Bloomberg, reports that PIMCO bought about $10 billion of the bonds. Bank of America sold $14 billion as structuring agent, and Blackstone contributed roughly $2 billion of equity. The more than 1 gigawatt campus was announced in October by OpenAI, Oracle, and Related Digital, with construction beginning in February. SpaceX, in its S-1 filing, reviewed by Reuters, estimates a $28.5 trillion total addressable market, with $26.5 trillion attributed to AI and $22.7 trillion specifically to enterprise AI. The filing outlines plans for a summer IPO targeting a roughly $1.75 trillion valuation and a $75 billion raise. The document states, "We believe we have identified the largest actionable total addressable market in human history," and notes SpaceX acquired xAI in February. Instacart co-founder Apurva Mehta has launched a hedge fund called Abundance that uses thousands of AI agents to autonomously source ideas, size positions, and execute trades. Bloomberg reports the firm raised $100 million in seed funding and began operations last year with a small team of quantitative researchers, engineers, and AI specialists. Intel reported 7% revenue growth to $13.6 billion in the first quarter, beating expectations. Shares rose more than 24% to about $83 in early trading, with an intraday peak of $85.22 reported by Insider Monkey. Demand for Intel Xeon server CPUs tied to AI workloads was cited as a key driver, though the company recorded a $3.7 billion net loss reflecting ongoing manufacturing investments. And in policy news, an expert panel under Japan's Justice Ministry agreed that individuals' voices should be protected under publicity and portrait rights. Chaired by Yoshiyuki Tamura, the panel plans to compile guidelines by this summer addressing unauthorized AI-generated uses of celebrity voices and images. And that's your AI briefing for today. The landscape is moving faster than ever, and we'll be here to track it with you. For more insights, visit us at letsdatascience.com. Thanks for tuning in, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest in AI.